What if I told you that deep in the heart of West Africa once stood a city so advanced, so powerful, that European explorers could hardly believe their eyes? A city of golden art, towering walls, and unmatched order. A place that rivaled the greatest empires of the ancient world. This was the Benin Kingdom, a forgotten African empire that once ruled with wisdom, art, and unmatched brilliance. Before the rise of Europe's global power, before colonial lines were drawn on African soil, Benin City was already shining. It stood in what is now southern Nigeria, a city surrounded by giant walls that stretched over 16,000 kilometers, one of the largest man-made structures in the world. Its streets were straight, wide, and clean. European visitors in the 15th century described it as more organized than many cities in Europe. But who built this wonder? Who were these people that created one of Africa's greatest civilizations, and how did their empire vanish from history? The story begins with the Edo people, founders of Benin. They built a kingdom ruled by a sacred king known as the Oba, seen as both ruler and spiritual leader. Every Oba was believed to be chosen by the gods to guide his people, to protect the land, and to keep balance between the world of humans and spirits. Under the rule of powerful Obas like Yuar the Great, Benin transformed from a small kingdom into a mighty empire. Oba Iwar expanded Benin's lands, strengthened its army, and turned the capital city into a masterpiece of African urban planning. He built roads that connected distant villages to the capital. He designed moats, gates, and walls that could withstand any invasion. But beyond power, Benin's greatest treasure was its art. Benin artists, using bronze, ivory, and coral, created sculptures so beautiful that Europeans later called them the wonders of the world. These were not just decorations, they told the history of kings, battles, and gods. Each piece held deep meaning, recording centuries of African culture. Bronze heads of kings, ivory masks, and coral beads reflected Benin's deep connection between art, religion, and royalty. When Portuguese traders arrived in the late 1400s, they were stunned. They wrote that Benin was a kingdom of great wealth, discipline, and beauty. Trade began. Ivory, pepper, and artwork were exchanged for metals, guns, and foreign goods. For a time, Benin stood strong in this new world of global trade. But with the coming centuries, darker tides followed. The greed of European empires grew. In 1897, the British Empire launched what they called the Punitive Expedition. Their goal, to conquer Benin and seize its treasures. Benin City was burned. Thousands of priceless bronzes were stolen, shipped to museums and private collections around the world. The proud Oba was captured and exiled. The walls that once stood as symbols of strength were left in ruins. The empire that once glowed with gold and glory was buried under the dust of colonial history, almost erased from the world's memory. Yet today, the spirit of Benin still lives on, in the descendants of the Edo people, in the sacred traditions of their culture, and in the art pieces now demanding to return home. So ask yourself, how could the world forget an empire that built one of the largest walls in human history, mastered bronze centuries before Europe, and ruled with wisdom and beauty? It's time to remember the Benin Kingdom, Africa's forgotten empire. Let the world know its story, share it, speak it, and never let it be erased again.